Hello, hello. Welcome. Please just give me a second. Trying to connect somewhere else. Okay, finally, I made it. Oh, I think now is recording. Hello, Fernanda. Thank you for bearing with me. Now I'm good. Everything is working. Uh, well, for those of you who don't know me, I am Ella Morello. This is Higher Self Talk, that time in our week that we get to explore different topics, to open up our perceptions so we can have new insights. The ideas of these talks is not to bring you more absolute truths, but rather for your questions to change. The episode of today, it's about passion. What to do when the fire of passion fades in your relationship. So I don't know if you were aware of that, if you truly saw that happening in your relationship, when you started and you felt all these great things, the butterfly in the stomach, everything seemed like, I don't know, it's like you were not even in this world. Like when you meet that person, like everything is fine for you. You look at every problem like it's okay, always good. Like that state that things just seem perfect. You deal with situations in different ways. You hear that music and you are daydreaming about that person, and everything is great, right? And then after some time, you don't know what happens, and then all you know is like, this is a little bit bothering me. Now I don't have that much patience. You know, this is, I don't know, like I used to be so feeling good in every aspect of my life. And right now I'm just going back to be who I am. I don't know if you have experienced that consciously or it took you a longer time to realize, oh, wow, I feel different towards this person. So let me give you an example. Like maybe in the beginning of the relationship, let's say you are dating someone that, it's sometimes in La La Land, has the mind in the clouds. And let's say that this person has a characteristic of forgetting things. And in the beginning of the relationship, you would find that funny. For example, you would find, I don't know, a cell phone inside the fridge, and you would be like, what the hell? And you guys would laugh together, just like, oh, I was doing something else, I didn't realize it. Or anything that, like the person left the key inside the car and closed the car, and you both would laugh, like, oh my God, where's your head? And you found that cute before. And then something happens inside of you. And after some time, that exact same characteristic start really bothering you. And you start like, how can you? Like, please pay attention to what you're doing. And so on. So what happened? Because the person had that characteristic, right? Nothing changed. The person is still the same person, but something inside of you changed. And let me tell you something, my friend. This is hormones. This is how it works. So, literally, we produce chemicals in different stages and different chemicals in our relationship. What do I mean? Well, the chemicals of the passion, okay? When you have this butterfly in the stomach and everything seems great and always awesome. That's the first stage. And what happens in that first stage is mainly the dopamine levels that are released during this whole process of attraction, the first look, the kiss, and of course, the sexual act, they are extremely high. Oxytocin is also present, but in a more during the sex and in a lower level. Okay. Also, the noradrenaline is also present in this first stage when we are in love, when we are when you have this passion inside, when everything seems just perfect. What happened is these hormones are associated with pleasure, addiction, and intensity of emotions. And these hormones can last at at most 18 months. So literally, you might feel these hormones and these things that I'm telling you here, all this excitement and this joy for up to 18 months. After that, your body is going to start producing different hormones, the hormones that are going to be looking much more for stability. And in the second stage, which is this bridge between the passion and the love, right? After 18 months tops, we are supposed to create that bridge because in our hormones inside, they are different. The person did not change. We are feeling different regarding that person thanks to our hormones. So in the second stage, the hormones that are most present are oxytocin and endorphin. And these substances hinder the production of these hormones of passion. Okay, so now we know that it's normal for us to lose this butterfly in the belly, in the stomach. Okay, because now we are looking, our hormones are looking for stability. How do we create this bridge between passion into love? Obviously, I am assuming here, and I'm talking about uh, relationships that have that are good. What do I mean by that? That have a syntony. They are in alignment because we might feel these hormones when we look at a movie or when we meet someone and we create this character in our head that literally did not exist. Okay, it just existed in our mind. So what I'm talking here is, let's say you went through this level, this passion stage. Okay, and that person is a person that is aligned with you, that you're building a relationship, and now you want to build this bridge between the passion into the love. Obviously, for a lot of people, that bridge, this the first stage to the second stage is not that evident. It's not something that happens like boom. Now, now I'm in the second stage. Sometimes it takes you a longer time to realize that you are losing this fire. Okay, so obviously there are two main reasons here. One is physical, that I'm not going to get into that much. But for example, if you're taking birth control pills, your libido naturally, because we're talking about hormones here, right, is going to go down. If you are in antidepressants, your libido is going to go down. Um, Also, if you're a woman, uh, well, maybe we should get into that in a little bit. But just so you know, women tend to think about sex 8 times less than men. Okay, this is our nature. Okay, but we are going to get into a little bit more depth into that, how we can help ourselves out regarding the sex. And also physically, you can also have some unbalanced hormones. Okay, so this is physically how can how this fire of passion can be going down in your life. However, most common it is that this thing here, our emotions and our misconceptions of reality, are actually really influencing in our relationship, in this passion that we are not feeling anymore. Okay, so now we know that it's normal. Literally, it's physical. It's normal that we go in our relationship through these two stages: passion and then love. However, how do we maintain love? How do we maintain ourselves sexually attractive, sexually active, and truly with this little passion here while we are in a relationship that is lasting, right? A relationship of years, maybe. Well, the first thing emotionally I want to talk about here is we have to understand, we have to really bring this to the front of our consciousness. No one is here to make us happy. You are the only one responsible for your happiness. You should be a complete individual. Okay? Your woman is not supposed to be your mother, and your man is not supposed to be your savior. Okay? So, starting from there, let's talk about two things. The first one is attachment. We, after some time in a relationship, we start developing this attachment feeling, like if the other is some kind of possession for us. We own that person. And in order for us, and what happens when we believe that? We fear losing that person. So, what is my invitation here? Obviously, get to know yourself, self knowledge, and self development to clear, to heal those misconceptions. Ask yourself, why am I afraid of losing this person? What inside of me has the illusion that if this person leaves, I will die? Why am I talking about attachment? Because a lot of times, if we are not aware that we are attached to that person, because of fear of losing, because we believe that person is our possession and so on. This is not uncommon, really. There is a lot of women, mainly, that they believe they have to make love, to have sex with their partner, because if they don't, they're going to lose that partner. So that's how. And by the way, if this is something that is unconscious and you are doing sex and you are making love without having libido, just because you believe you have to, this is going to add even more to your unconscious. And you're going to be producing the hormones, not of the passion. You're not activating the fire within you. Actually, you're doing the opposite. Now your brain, yourself, is going to start associating sex with something that is not comfortable, with something that you have to do. This is an obligation. Okay, so be aware, pay attention if this is happening to you. Okay, and do the deeper work there to understand if this comes from an attachment. The second, another thing that I want to say here before we move on is remember that we do not experience love from the other. We experience our own love reflected in the other. So, if you are not feeling your libido there, what can you do in order to activate that energy inside of you? We're going to go into practical tips in the end of this talk, but I want to talk right now about the second point I want to make here. Essentially, a woman wants to feel loved, and a man wants to feel respected. This is really basic, okay? But essentially, this is what happens. And in the beginning of our relationship, with all these beautiful hormones flourishing, our brain is on fire. The stage, the cycle, the positive cycle, the good cycle is usually present. What do I mean? Well, a man is there taking care of the woman. A woman is feeling loved. Why? The man also has all these chemicals, right? So the man is also thinking about woman, and now he's giving her a lot of kisses, and it's calling her, and so on. So the woman is feeling loved. Right away, she's gonna admire that guy, obviously for other things as well. But when she feels love, it's easier for her to admire the guy and to respect the guy. As soon as the guy receives this admiration and respect, he tends to show more love, and we are in this positive cycle. Then what start happening? Well, remember my example that I said in the beginning? You always knew the person had the mind in the clouds. And in the beginning, you found that funny. But as of right now, that is something that is really bothering you. What starts happening when we are not working consciously in our relationships? Well, as soon as the woman, let's say, starts like complaining about this characteristic, just one example, and she goes and she's like, I don't like this, you have to start paying attention, please focus, or any other thing, this is important for me. So the guy automatically, and obviously can be vice versa, okay? But the cycle goes, okay, so the guy now is feeling pressured. So now he's going to show less love to the woman. As soon as the woman starts feeling less loved, she's going to admire him less and respect him less because she's not feeling that she's gaining what she deserves. Also, vice versa. So now we enter the negative cycle of the relationship. So, if we're talking in this life about the fire of passion, we need to understand that if it's not a hormone problem, physical problem, if you're not taking pills and so on, our body, our fire, our hormones are going to be released based on here, based in what we are feeling. So it is super important if you want to bring up the fire of passion again, that you examine your own self. Realize if you are in your relationship in this positive cycle or in the negative cycle. And by the way, you're going to have to go a little bit deeper here because a lot of times, if we are in relationships of years, of many years, we are not even realizing anymore we are in this negative cycle because maybe it's not that obvious. You know, you guys have a good conversation, maybe you even have a family and things are the way they are, but in reality, you don't really want to go back home because you miss that person. You don't want to go and make love because you really desire that person, and so on. So it's important for you to do this um, observation and see, okay, where in my relationship am I on? Because you do have the ability, and I'm going to give you a couple of tips here and suggestions to leave this negative cycle and go back to the positive cycle. Remember that life is like this, right? It's full of changes. So it is in our hand. Understand what's going on for us to change. Um, okay, so I think, yeah, I'm ready to give us the tips. But before I go to there, I want to talk specifically with you, woman. As I said, right, men, they tend to think about sex 8 times more than we do. So I want to talk to you about libido. Okay, let's say everything is in the positive cycle in your relationship, but still, you work a lot, you're constantly tired, you don't feel, you don't want to make love. I want to give you a couple of suggestions. Well, first of all, start telling your brain, inviting your brain to think about sex. You can read a poem, a erotic poem. Uh, you can think about something that turns you on, but try to bring this into your daily reality. Okay? You do not need to touch yourself if you don't want to. Okay, I'm talking about we are exercising our brain for our brain to remember that our vagina actually exists and is there not only for us to pee or, you know, to bring a baby into this world, that is there also to give us pleasure. Another thing, how you're going to tell your brain daily that, hey, I have a vagina, my vagina is here, without touching it. I invite you to. You have a little a break in your work. You're going to start there, you're drinking a coffee, and you're going to be doing like this in your pelvic muscle. Start doing like this, simply like this. This is probably not going to turn you on. That's not the invitation here. The invitation is if you start doing this daily, you're sending the signal to your brain that, hey, a vagina exists down here. So these are two tips, and this is called pompoarismo. Okay, there is a lot of exercises. You can Google it and start working, but simple. Right now, just start up, down. Can you feel? Can you feel your vagina? This is sending this, and this is gonna help you start bringing back these hormones, your libido up. Which, by the way, libido is different than desire. Libido has to deal with hormones. Desire has to do with our emotions. So see that everything is connected. You have to work in your emotions and in your libido. Okay, so this is the suggestion I wanted to give to you, woman. If you start, I promise you that you're gonna see a change really quick, but you have to be consistent. You're gonna reach a point that you're gonna be, I don't know, in the movie theater, and you're gonna be see this beautiful guy, maybe Thor, like there, and your vagina is gonna be like, woo, awesome. I'm alive. Look how good it feels. Okay? And obviously with your partner. So the invitation is to remember your body that is there. Now going back to the tip for couples. Okay? So tip number 1. Okay? So this is something that I really like doing, not only when I see that my relationship is getting cooler. Okay? I actually like to do everything that I'm going to tell you here to maintain my relationship right there. And you know what? To give you a personal example, I was really impressed on how just simply being aware of that really changes the relationship I'm in right now. The previous relationship that I had, and I always had a relationship for years, um, I didn't have libido anymore. I didn't have desire. I started realizing I didn't admire the person anymore. And the first thing that I would automatically do was kind of like cover myself. Nowadays, I'm with this person for a couple of years now. And literally, with all my heart, I still come back home and I want him to be home. And I want to make love. And I want to explore different things. He is literally, besides being my best friend, the person I sexually, it puts my energy up. I am sexually happy with this person. I have been years. So the hormones, the first stage of the 18 months, are already gone for a long time. And I am so proud of myself because before, when I didn't have conscious, I thought something was wrong with me. I really thought. I was like, I don't know, maybe that's when you start getting older, how you feel. I don't know. But it was something that, anyways, start eating even my self-esteem, And then I got into that place. I have to. Oh my God. Then you go down the hole, and that's not a good idea. So I invite you to, even if your relationship is good now, your sexual life is good now, great. But I invite you to use these tips even when this is good, because then is how you maintain this. Okay? We usually look for solutions just when we have the problem. What if we consciously work on this not to have the problem, right? Okay, so go straight to the point now. Tip number one, remember why you fell in love with that person. Really, close your eyes, remember. Okay, it might seem simple, but it's super important. Tip number two, remember the good times you had and also the hard times you had and that you were able to overcome and got stronger. Three, now it's getting more profound. Get to action. Nurture your own natural energy and confidence because your partner was attracted to you in your natural state. This is really, really important. That's why self knowledge is so important because sometimes in a relationship, we kind of lose sight of who we are. And that's when problems start to begin. Tip number four, remember to touch your partner frequently, as this will help you guys redevelop the closeness and intimacy. A little kiss, a hug, reassure the person that you care about about him or her. Say, I'm still here and I'm not going anywhere. These small moments really might mean a lot for the person who is trying to fix a relationship. Of course, sex is really important as well. So every if you accompany my work, you always know that I always say the other does not exist. It's about us. So understand your own sexual energy. If you are a woman, I already gave you two tips on how you can start exploring that. What else can you do? Start working with yoni eggs. What else can you do? Do you want to do a couples tantric course? Start exploring how you can achieve pleasure through your breathing. I don't know, whatever you feel drawn to. But first, before putting your partner there, remember to work on your own sexual energy. Touch yourself. Figure out parts of your body, what gives you pleasure. Okay? Remember, it always starts with you. Another tip. Number five, plan time alone. Go on dates, be adventure, experience something you never did. We sometimes, whenever we are in a long relationship, sometimes we fall into the routine. A lot of people like routine, no problem with that. But if you're feeling that your fire is going down, knowing yourself, what would be something? What is important to you? Maybe it's important to you to have a time to talk. So from now on, you guys are going to put a time in your schedule where none of you are going to do anything else besides talking and sharing with each other. Or maybe for you, it's important to go on a trip. So now you're going to work. That's your goal. How am I going to be able to um, plan myself in order to be able to go with it to this trip with my uh, with that person, right? Um, Another tip, I think, is number six. Communicate your emotions. This is really important. It has to be beyond the simple I love you. Be curious about your partner. Ask questions and practice deep listening when they answer. This is going to lead you to my next one, which is reinforce your sense of connection through positive anchors. What do I mean? Decide that it's more important to be in love than to be right. I'm going to repeat this one. Decide inside of yourself that it's more important for you to be in love than to be right. Okay? Next tip, really important, this one as well. Don't get stuck in repetitive patterns. If you're ready, If you are able to pick one repetitive pattern that you know is doing bad for your relationship, you constantly complain about this. Instead of complaining, try to talk. When you talk, the other person doesn't get it. Now you have two options. Or you're going to be repeating those patterns forever and putting your relationship fire more down, or you're going to find a solution. In order, you already know that person is not going to do that. What can you do then in order not to feel that way? Okay, so pay attention to the repetitive pattern and decide, use any tool, use your abilities in order to don't perpetuate this pattern. And never, ever, ever threaten your relationship. Don't threaten your relationship. If you're feeling that inside, work on it. Don't externalize this. As soon as you externalize this is all of the things that I'm telling you are going to gain momentum. And all you're going to be doing is actually getting more separated from your partner than going back to the fire. Okay? So I don't know. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys have any questions. Let me see you here. This is a little, little talk for us to start. As I said in the beginning, broaden up a little bit our perceptions, getting insights in order to live a life that we deserve to live. And by the way, don't be rude to yourself. Don't be harsh on yourself. We are all here learning how to love. We are learning how to love unconditionally. Excuse me. Because we actually love with conditions. So that's it. Knowing that we always in my work, we always start from the understanding that we are here right now. Let me understand the truth. If I'm still not able to love unconditionally, that's fine. I'm conscious about it and I'm working towards that. What in me doesn't allow me to love unconditionally? Is it my fears? Is it my traumas? Is it my attachments? What is it? That's fine. We're going to sit with that understanding, with that pain, with that situation. And we're going to put all the tools that I share here with you in practice in order to overcome that. As we said, we keep evolving. Okay, so if you are in the negative cycle that I explained here, don't be harsh on yourself. Now you know consciously what we're going to do in order to go back to the positive cycles, knowing that it's natural that that our hormones change. Stage one to stage two. This happened to you, to me, to everyone alive. So that's completely fine. Okay, so I hope that, hello. I hope that you have enjoyed this talk and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.